Hi, I'm Greg Hunter, and this is the weekly news wrap-up for Friday, March 23rd, 2012. Going to be a little different today. Number one, I am on a working vacation on the North Carolina coast at a friend of mine's beach house. Number two, I want to talk to you about the mainstream media and how they rank stories and their ranking of stories, how it affects your perception of how important they are. I mean, that's what news organizations do. They tell you just how important. I mean, you know, your lead story should be a very important story. You know, something more frivolous like, Hunger Games should be back on the entertainment section. Not that, really important in terms of your life. But I just want to start with yesterday's headline on the USA Today. And I bring the USA Today up because it says right across the top, right up here, it says the nation's newspaper. You see the headline here? I'm going to move my fingers here. The NFL's big hit. Now, this is what the USA Today thinks. This is the story you need to know about. Also, you need to know about the NCAA tournament. And I said to myself when I read, really? A coach got fined a year's pay, $7.5 million because of the bounty program, illegally hitting other players and trying to knock them out of the game. That's a story. That is, without a question, a story. And it should be on the front page of there it is, on the sports section, right? Sure, that's a story. We have soldiers in harm's way getting their arms and legs blown off, not to mention the fact being killed in Afghanistan and still in Iraq, even though they said the war was over there. Unbelievable that this is the story that USA Today picked as what you need to know as the most important thing in your life. And, I tell you, I just jotted down a few things I thought could have made the front page, above the fold, or anywhere on the front page, for that matter. I just want to read you a few of the things. For example, this Al-Qaeda killer, they did kill him. They didn't know that when this paper went to press yesterday, but he was still running around the south of France. He killed, 3 French soldiers and some Jewish children, and that couldn't make the front page. I mean, after all, you're either with us or against us. Al-Qaeda is the reason why the NDAA, National Defense Authorization Act, where they can indefinitely detain Al-Qaeda terrorists. That's such a paramount issue that didn't make the front page of this newspaper. Rising gasoline prices. Headline this week, Christine Lagarde, the head of the IMF, says, well, there could be a 30% price spike in oil prices. Already the national average is approaching $4 a gallon. On the coasts, it's $5 a gallon, and we're talking another 30%. Oh, that couldn't be up here on the front page of the story. Also a possible military coup in China. This is reported by the Washington Times. Maybe they can make a few calls about that. Maybe debunk that. The Iran-Israeli war, they're not heading towards peace over there, as I've been telling you. There's a big headline every week, and there was plenty this week about that. Also, the $5.3 trillion in budget cuts that the Republican leadership wants to hoist on the country, which we probably need it. The country is swimming in red ink, and somebody's finally standing up saying we need to cut some stuff. Also, this is broken by ABC News. Late in the week, that Russian special forces have landed in Syria. What have I been telling you about Syria? Russia has a naval base on the Syrian coast. It is a strategic Eastern Mediterranean naval base for the Russians. Did NATO and the president just think they were just going to roll up and, we'll get out of there. We're going to leave. You have John McCain saying we should bomb Syria. Really? You think the Russians are going to let Syria go down? And I'm not saying that Assad is a nice guy. He's not. He's murdering his people. However, let's give the stories the importance that they deserve and that it could affect every American's life if we go to war in Iran or Syria or anywhere else in the Middle East, because the economy is teetering on insolvency. Another big thing with the president this week, the National Defense Resource Preparedness, the NDRP. That's on the heels of the NDAA, of course, where they could put a bag over your head and drag you off without charge, without due process. They could do that to Americans. The president admitted it. I don't even want to argue about it. The president admitted it in his signing statement. And now we have the National Defense Resource Preparedness. This is defense preparedness. This is not in a time of war. This is defense preparedness. That they could take oil, they can take fuel, they can take farmland, farm equipment, vehicles, boats, airplanes, water, food, crops. They can also, and I love this, they can also employ persons of outstanding experience and ability without compensation. Let's hear that again. Employ persons of outstanding experience and ability without compensation. Didn't we fight a war over that, at least in part, in the 1860s? You know, making people work without compensation. You think maybe somebody at the newspaper could have read this? Taken a couple of days. He signed this last Friday, right, at the, at closing time. He was so proud of it. He did it like, right at 5 o'clock and released it. The President of the United States, Barack Obama. I'm not a big Obama hater, but I think the president, I don't care who he is, Bush or Obama or Mitt Romney or Ron Paul or anybody else, ought to have questions. If you're doing something, you're doing it publicly, you should have some questions. And my question to the USA Today, the nation's newspaper, is why didn't something like all the stuff I named make the front page of the newspaper yesterday? You're telling people what is important for their lives. And the mainstream media is like, oh, well, our readership is shrinking. It's the internet, is it? Let me tell you why it's shrinking. Okay? People don't like what they're seeing. And when they go to the alternative media, and that's my site or many other great sites out there, better than mine, they're finding out a whole nother slant. And so I'm saying all that to say this. Read the mainstream media. I'm not saying don't. Actually, I get a lot of stuff out of there. But take it with a grain of salt. And take a look at the order in which do you really think this is the story that Americans need to know about? The NFL's big hit? You really? I bet you if you ask one of these Iraqi war veterans who's had a limb blown off, I bet you wouldn't think that was too important. Bet you would think about how our mission over there is crumbling. That might be a better story to be on the front page of the USA Today. Take the mainstream media with a grain of salt and support alternative media sites like this one and many other sites that are better than this one. Okay? Thank you for supporting USA Watchdog. I'm Greg Hunter. That's the way I see it.